But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'm ever stopping.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building this dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network here at Unscripted, of course. I am your host and producer, Logan Landers, and join me as always, my guy, Jay McLovin. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. Interesting times are ahead of us in the world of sports, man. But it's good to be here to talk to sports with you, my brother.
Ready for it, man. Ready for it. But before we get into it today, guys, if you enjoy this episode, of course, live here on Facebook, X, also on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and you can also go check us out on LinkedIn as well. Be sure to give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe. Helps out the channel and helps us, gain views, gain subscribers, and ultimately helps us make more content. So that's all in positivity here. And today, our topic for all those previously mentioned social media channels, as well as Northeast Streaming Sports' Roku channel. Go check them out on YouTube and on Roku. Today, Jay, we are talking in-season tournaments, and the reason we are bringing this up once again is because it was announced that NASCAR is now getting into the fray and having their own version of an in-season tournament coming in 2025. It's going to have 32 drivers, 5 races, and the winner of this gets $1 million. So we've seen in-season tournaments become a new trend in sports. Obviously, we know the big one with basketball, the NBA. And now we see that NASCAR is getting into it. So just general topic, but what do you think about, let's just go in general in-season tournaments. Are you a fan of them? Are you not? And then we'll go dive deeper into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with the whole in-season tournament. I kind of get it maybe when it comes to NASCAR. But with basketball, I don't really get the whole in-season tournament thing. When we talk about the money aspect for the drivers and the players, things like that, yeah, $1 million to a NASCAR driver probably is a lot of money. But, $500,000, $50,000, $100,000 to that average NBA player is not really a whole lot of money. It's just kind of like, hey, here's your thank you gift for showing up almost. So I don't know how well that really was going to be on the NBA side of it as much as it was the NASCAR side of it, Logan.
No, and rightfully so. Whenever the in-season tournament did become announced for the NBA, I was kind of like, what's the point? A lot of people were like that, to be fair. A lot of people were wondering, is there really even a point for it? But we saw that, that the players and the teams, they were going for it, Jay. They were playing tough games. And right. We saw some pretty solid matchups. You saw obviously the colorful courts and jerseys and whatnot. And ultimately the Lakers took home the in-season tournament championship this past season. But for NASCAR, I can see it a little bit more. It kind of gives them, I don't know if I'd say an edge, but it really kind of helps with viewership, I would say, and it helps the drivers. It's a long season in NASCAR, man. There's a lot of races. There's a lot of races out there pretty much every single week to multiple different tracks and counties and cities and states and everything. And I think this is a way to kind of drum up fan interest, to maybe get more of a casual fan interested, because we saw the NBA really hyped up the in-season tournament this past year. They were really pushing it hard and saying, hey, look, this isn't just going to be, one where a lot of star players sit out. All the star players were in those games, and they were putting it on the line because they knew that, the superstars, right, that might not mean a lot to them. All of the players on the team got an added bonus. So that's who the teams are playing for, in the sense of not more so, the LeBron Jameses, the Kevin Durant, or whatever the world, guys who are well off in their financial futures, but for guys who might not even crack a team next year. So with NASCAR, it'll be interesting because we know it's a limited pool of drivers in a sense, right? Obviously, you are on teams. And I don't know if there's not a team incentive to this. This is just going to be, I believe, to one driver. But hey, man, $1 million is still $1 million. I'm going for it regardless. I am racing tough.
Yeah,
all 5 of those, and I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this money. But also, too, what I like that they're doing is it's going to be on multiple different streaming platforms. And as I mentioned earlier, just to get a wider base, wider audience. That's why it's going to be on, as you see at the top there, TNT, their sports networks and everything. But also be on Prime, Amazon Prime, and HBO Max. So you've got a leader in terms of sports coverage on cable in TNT. And then you've got 2 of the more well-known streaming services out there. Obviously, it's not like Netflix with the NFL or nothing like that, but a lot of people still have both of those services. So how do you think that this will benefit NASCAR as a whole? Do you think it will drive more interest into the product?
Yeah, with NASCAR, they needed something like the in-season tournament. To be honest with you, they don't catch enough of the demographic to really, give them the huge overall lead, right? I mean, these guys, as much as they can, they need the support. So with NASCAR, in terms of how they market themselves and things like that, this is just a great way to market themselves, right? It's a great marketing ploy for them. It gives more incentive to the drivers. It gives more incentive to the fans. So the in-season tournament really does make a lot of sense when it comes to NASCAR trying to boost their ratings and trying to get, more business traffic coming through the door. So I totally get it for NASCAR. For the NBA, not so much. The NBA has great marketing. Mm-hmm. Their marketing is probably one of the best in the country, even in the world in some cases, with the way they're doing overseas now. So, with the NBA, I don't think it really makes as much sense. I mean, I know they're trying to give you more competitive play, but who are they really giving you competitive play for? Because the leagues are randomized. The teams are randomized. So it's not like you're getting these interdivisional games that mean something. I mean, you're going up against teams from all over the place. So I don't know what they're trying to do there. To me, that's kind of a confusing strategy for what you're trying to build. It would have been better if they just had the divisional games and then led up with the single game elimination up to the very front. I think would have gone that much. Would have been a much better play at it. But this whole randomized drawing, Logan, to me just makes no sense. And trying to, stellar up those interseason rivalries, or in-season.
No,
rivalries.
and I mean, do you think that we could see this concept come to other sports and other leagues? Obviously, when you talk about the NBA, do you think the WNBA should do this?
I think the WNBA should do whatever they can to promote their product because they do nothing of it. And this is not the first time we've had this discussion on the lack of marketing by the WNBA. I mean, this league can use everything that they can get in order to drive ticket sales, to drive better wages for the players, things like that. I mean, we all know and we all have our speculation that it's a write-off for the NBA, but at the same time, come on, guys. You can at least do a little something over there.
Hey, man, I guarantee if you put $1 million in the WNBA's players' faces, who, look, a lot of them don't make that, best believe they're going to be going hard in the paint, man. They're going to be clotheslining.
Hey, you put $1 million purse out there in the WNBA, and you're going to see the second coming of the purge.
Oh, brother, you're not kidding. It's going to be brutal out there. But it would make it would make for some great television. It would make for some great games. I can guarantee you that. That would be tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about baseball? Because we know baseball, obviously, we know it's the longest sport in terms of length. It goes for forever. It starts in March, in late February, March for spring training, and takes you all the way to October and sometimes November. So You got multiple months. Do you think they should maybe, I don't know if I would say take a break, but do you think like maybe during the All-Star break they should do an in-season tournament instead maybe? I don't know.
If you're going to do an in-season tournament, I would rather see an in-season tournament play single elimination versus the All-Star game. And I'd rather see it'd be like mini games. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have you take like a group of 8 teams and they do mini half games, right? Just one half of basketball, right? The first two quarter games, okay. And let it kind of go down that direction. If that's something you want to entertain, because I think you get better basketball watching, a half of that where they're really getting paid than the BS that they got going on right now.
No, because we know obviously, bring it back to the NBA, and I only say that because their All-Star game, it's just an offensive showcase in a sense. And look, I get that's the main draw. I'm not saying that these guys need to be playing tough defense, every single down or every single play in an All-Star game where it doesn't mean anything ultimately. But for the longest, Jay, I was, and I know you were too, probably the biggest haters about the NFL and their Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Because the Pro Bowl for the last however many years has just sucked. I will say I'm glad that this past year they went with, as you just kind of said, more of a fun type of game. They went with mini games, which I thought was fun to watch. I don't know. I don't know if it's perfect, but I definitely think it's on the right track in terms of what they need to do.
Logan, when this whole thing about the in-season tournament first came out, and I'm speaking more so on the NBA side of it.
Yeah, of course.
They came up with 3 bullet points of what they wanted the in-season tournament to achieve. And the first bullet point was another competitive way to win. So they felt like the in-season tournament would increase the competition level. They felt like it would engage fans in a new way, and it felt like it would drive additional interest in the early part of the season. And here's my problem: if you're in a problem with additional interest at the early part of the season, what the hell? I don't think the early part of the season is the issue. I think it's in finding ways. If you want out of those 3 bullet points, then engaging the fans in a new way would have to be the biggest thing, right? Because they've done everything else. They just got to find different ways to engage the fans. And I don't know if an in-season tournament so much is going to captivate the fans because it's just more of what you've been doing, or if you just need a completely different experience altogether in the NBA. In other words, I don't know how that would be achieved, right? That's going to take somebody smarter than I am. But you have to come up with different gimmicks and different ways other than just an in-season tournament, which is basically just extending the season a little bit longer than what it normally would be. And let's be honest, Logan, nobody gave a damn that the Lakers won the in-season tournament. Nobody gave a damn because they were a first-round exit. So what does it really say for the in-season tournament?
The in-season tournament's weird, right? I didn't understand the concept when they first announced it. And then they tried to hype it up. And like I said, I enjoyed the games. I thought they were cool. I thought it was, fun, competitive. Was it kind of confusing? Yeah, because just everyone was in these pools and they'd play each other. And my thing too, though, Jay, and this is just kind of nitpicking it, what's the point of having divisions in the NBA if they wouldn't just play each other then? Wouldn't it make more sense to play teams in your division?
Right.
Wouldn't it make sense
Right.
for the
Now,
Rockets?
if you want to really, yeah, I mean, look, if you want to hype up an NBA season and you want to do something that gets fans engaged, then go back and have rivalry competitions. Like have a rivalry week where the week is nothing more than big rivalries going at it, right? Lakers, Celtics, right? Bulls, Pistons, right? Stuff like that. You can have in season tournaments, Rockets, Mavericks, whatever, or Spurs, whatever.
Right.
I mean, you can make in season rivalry week versus an in season tournament per se,
which isn't a bad idea in a way, because obviously I think that's what a lot of people like about college football, because every year you are guaranteed a rivalry game. If you're Texas, you're going to take on Oklahoma.
Right.
If you're Georgia, you're going to take on Georgia Tech. So on and so forth, right? There's hundreds of them out there. If you're Army, you're going to take on Navy, so many other ones. And I think that's what kind of helps out college football more so in the sense than other leagues is that those games are coming. They have history and what they're going to do. So we got a comment here from our guy Melvin, another part of our network here. He's saying the in-season tournament was a success. The NBA took a page out of FIFA's book. So that I can see that's where they got it from. Obvious, look, we know that FIFA's the largest sport in the world. So they're doing something right. But I think it was a success in a sense because I know the ratings were good, the money was good, everything was positive about it, right? And it's just because it's in its infancy, it's in its first year. But how are they going to build off of this? Because, like you said, when you look at the in-season tournament championship, it doesn't really mean much. It's just kind of there. It could, right? It could over the next however long they decide to do this, it could build up value. But going back to NASCAR, the newest sport to bring this, I think that would help. Because I mean, you could probably see guys who just go on a run, right? Who go on, because we see in NASCAR guys get hot streaks, right? They win a couple of races or they finish top 5, top 10. And that would really help out here. But as opposed to someone who, if they kind of struggle out the gate and they get it going late in the season or whatnot and they come on strong. But I think I would be more so, I could see more of a vision with the sport of NASCAR doing this than I would the NBA. And that's not, like I said, it's not knocking the NBA. I thought that, like I said, I enjoyed watching the games. I thought it was pretty cool, but I wasn't sold on it year one. I think with NASCAR, they have a chance, Jay, to do something good here, to build momentum, to build more fans, to get new fans attracted more so than anything, and also help out the drivers. Because we know the competition is wildly out there in all sports, obviously, but I think NASCAR, it's very much so. Yeah, you got your teammates on your own crew and whatnot and your own owners, but they still want to go at each other sometimes, man. And I think that's what we're going to see with this in-season tournament for NASCAR specifically.
Yeah, and I think the in-season tournament is good for certain, like I said, for certain sports. I don't know if it's necessarily the perfect tool for every sport, but I do see how in certain sports it can definitely rejuvenate some in-season interest. And I think that's what the WNBA needs. But the problem with the WNBA is they only play a handful of games. It's not like they're out there playing like a long stretch of games. So I don't know where exactly you put an in-season tournament and already a shortened season that they play to begin with. You know what I mean?
Well, also, too, the WNBA don't have a lot of teams. We know this. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of teams already. They have, I believe, 12 teams. They're going to have 13. They just announced the other day that they are going to bring in a new team. I believe it's a Golden State. But and also, I forgot, Jay, they do have an in-season tournament. Theirs also just came across semi-recently. They have the Commissioner's Cup. I forgot all about it. 2020, when they brought it up. So it's been around. And so what it is in-season competition. starts at the regular season, goes through the first half of the season. So basically, instead of theirs kind of being like the NBA, where it's just like, 25 games or something like that, I forget, or 20 games or whatever, theirs is the entire first half, which that's what a lot of I know minor league baseball teams do that they have like the first half standings, you know what I mean, and the second half and whatnot. So that's what theirs is. And look, man, we talked about it in our last show. This is the time to do so. This is the time you gotta get these things on national national TV, not on ESPN2 at 4 a.m. That's where they really need. This is where the iron is hot and they need to strike with it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think, and I know Melvin, everybody thinks that the NBA was an in-season success. For me, the in-season tournament in the NBA just really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot to me. Maybe it means, I guess, a lot to other people. It just really doesn't mean a whole lot to me because at the end of the day, I don't care about the end season. I care about the end of the season. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it would be good for leagues that are hurting. I don't know. Is the NBA really hurting that they have to do an in-season tournament?
I don't think. No, I think the NBA is probably one of the most marketable, thriving sports leagues.
So why are we sitting here trying to fix things that don't necessarily need
or add on to it?
We fix things to the point where we break them. I think baseball is having one of those things where they're going through that with the pitch clock and things like that.
Yeah, and to go back to baseball, I don't think they could do an in-season tournament just because the amount of travel these teams have to do would be insane.
Yeah, and the length of games. Oh Lord.
Yeah, and the length has shortened. The length of games has shortened, but still, I mean, if you were to pool, let's just go, 10 teams or whatever, 7 teams or whatever, and have them all play each other for a month. I mean, it's kind of in a sense like the World Baseball Classic, if you know what I mean, because you start off in pools and you work your way out. But I just think that with the amount of money that they make from travel, from fans traveling, all that, I don't think they would ever go for it.
I mean, yeah, certainly there's going to be an expense to that, right? I mean, it's not going to go deep at all by any means. And that's another thing too, is that these in-season tournament games with the NBA, they're at neutral site locations.
Correct.
Like, what the hell, man? Give me basketball. You already took that crap away for the NBA, or for the actual championship. Damn, give me back some of my games.
I mean, yeah, and just kind of talking about teams.
I'm a fan, I mean,
yeah. No, and I mean the thing about
you don't know at what point this tournament's going to come around. What pivotal point that's going to come around, and maybe you need your fans to get you through some tournaments. No,
I get what you mean, and that's why I'm kind of iffy about the NFL going overseas so much now. Because I mean, it used to just be none, but it used to be games in Mexico, and now they're playing games in Mexico and Germany, which I think is good for the sport. I think it helps more worldwide stuff. But you got to feel, though, for the hometown teams, for the hometown fans, because you're getting cheated out of like 1 or 2 games. And I get they're trying to go more global, which hats off to them for doing that. Hey, any growth is good growth, but I know that hurts those home fans, man, when they see. Because I think it wasn't it the Jaguars last season who played like 2 games back to back in London? Like they didn't go home for like a month.
Yeah.
So I know that those fans were not too pleased. But I think that overall, man, the in-season tournament, it's something. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like the worst thing that's ever been in sports. I don't really care much for the concept. But it's fine. I just don't know that second bullet point of engaging fans in a new way. I don't know
how the NBA really accomplished the mission of engaging fans in a new way. I don't really feel like I was engaged in a new way with this. I felt like it's just another tournament, but I don't feel like I was, as a fan, I wasn't really any more engaged this way or any other way.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, obviously, I want you want your team to win. That's the main thing, but I don't put a whole lot of stock into it. That's like saying if your team goes, if they go 22-5 in the preseason in the MLB, that's
Right.
great, but does it really mean anything?
Right. I mean, seriously, do you think that in-season banner that the Lakers won, do you think that means anything equal to or greater than the other banners that they have hanging in their rafters? I got to imagine it's on a lower tier.
Oh, no, not at all. I know that they don't care for it. And look, obviously we know it wasn't the players' choice. That was the league. That was the commish saying, hey, put this up. And we're going to see it, That's just because it's all about branding. And you want to say, hey, look, first ever in-season champs. Fine, cool. The Lakers couldn't say they're not going to be there. Like I said, that's from the higher ups. You can't go against that. That's just how it is.
You know what it's like? It's like Denver Nuggets going, oh, look at that. They got their in-season championship.
Right. Yeah. And I mean,
I think making so much fun of that, it would be hilarious.
I think for NASCAR, what you could probably do, Jay, is you could put on your hood of your car, in-season champion. Just have a decal for the rest of the year, and that would be fine. Obviously, they don't have banners in NASCAR, so that's different. But I think that if you win that, you should have something on your car that says, "Hey, look, I did this."
Right.
And like I said, WNBA has their trophy of the Commissioner's Cup, so it's interesting, man. Like I said, it's a fairly new concept. These things have been around for over 5 years, but I've never really been like, oh boy, I can't wait for the in-season tournament. That's just different. And also too, I mean, I don't believe that the NHL has one.
Right.
I don't believe they have an in-season tournament. I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, wait, hold on. Oh, it's international, so that's different. Okay, yeah, they said in an article I found, NHL not considering in-season tournament despite the NBA's whatever. So NHL, they're not going to go for it, which, I mean, fine for them. If they decide not to, that's good. That's for them. But also too, we mentioned travel, hockey. There's teams all about. There's teams all over the globe, literally all over the globe because you got teams in Canada.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't see, and I just
don't know if it's practical. I don't know how practical it is for the other leagues to do that. Financially, I don't even know if it's practical.
Well, and like you said, obviously, I think for year one, the NBA got a good boost from it because it's fresh, it's new, right? You're gonna check it out more, but I want to see how it looks in year 4, year 5. Will they keep this success up? I don't know. I can't tell you. We're not there yet. Will they maybe add more money on the line? I think they would have to. Right. Because you're going to have to keep incentivizing these players, these drivers, whoever, to play for more money. Because that's just how it is.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. But, Jay, we got about a minute and a half here. Do you have any other final thoughts you want to get out before we wrap up our show here today on our live stream?
Yeah, hey, all I got to add to this really is just do a better job, NBA, of finding ways to get the fans engaged. I think that's the mark you're really missing is fan engagement. The rest of the stuff, should be happening already in the league, and if it's not happening, then that's a real problem. But try to get these fans more engaged in the game of basketball rather than just sitting in a seat watching the game of basketball. That's the only way about you're going to really get more engagement from fans in a new way.
Jay McLovin, well said, my friend. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode here today, be sure to give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and also go and subscribe with us on LinkedIn as well. For my co-host today, Jay McLovin, I've been your host, producer Logan Landers. We've been talking about our thoughts on in-season tournaments, if we like them, if we don't like them. We want to hear from you, like our guy Melvin, who said the in-season tournament was a success. They took a page out of FIFA's book, the NBA did. So go in there, put a comment in there, and we will be sure to reply to it. Like I said, for Jay McLuffin, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, get out there and enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you later.